Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Gage Samoji. He's Emerson Hip, and this is the Intoxicated Sports Report.
Woo! That was easy.
We got a great audience today.
We do. We do.
How you doing, partner?
We're doing good.
Excellent.
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Good. We're back.
We're back, baby. Kind of on a more regular schedule
Yeah.
this time around.
That's the way we like it.
Didn't take 3 weeks off.
Yeah. It's okay, though. It's
That's
okay.
all right. It's all
We
right.
had things to do.
Yeah.
Now we don't.
Life happened. Now we're back.
So we hope that people listening, maybe watching, appreciate it.
We got a little NBA on right now.
It's not much of a game, but
Yeah.
yes.
Nuggets had a chance to close things out tonight, and they were getting their shit stomped down by almost 40 midway through the fourth quarter. So when we get to the NBA section, we'll be talking Game 7.
Game 7! Zaza Pachulia style.
I'm definitely posting that on our Instagram in a couple days. Game 7.
Oh, speaking of social media, you were kind of popping off on Twitter last night. I loved it. For those who don't know, the Giants won the World Series last night.
They did.
AKA the Giants finally beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which
Feels like they haven't done that in a few years.
it really has. It felt, since 2021, it's felt like the Giants cannot beat the Dodgers.
Yeah. It was nice to see a W. I was there, obviously.
You had great seats.
Awesome seats, yeah. I let Max Muncy hear it pretty much all night. It was pretty good.
Oh, hell yeah. Max Muncy, I heard on the radio they did like top 5 most hated Dodgers, and I didn't get to hear the hosts' lists. But like if I'm making a list, I haven't had a Dodger hatred for as long as you have.
Yeah.
Like I probably started really not liking the Dodgers, I don't know, from like 2009 on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't really pay attention to baseball that closely.
Yeah.
But if I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice, Max Muncy has got to be on that
For
list.
sure. Muncy, and I would say like Kike Hernandez would be up there.
I'm putting Justin Turner up
Justin Turner was a giant killer.
there. Adrian Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And then, people were saying Puig.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's pretty much that era of Dodger baseball.
Yeah. Like the
when they were all on the same team.
early 2010s.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wasn't a huge fan of Matt Kemp either. I hate him, but it wasn't.
Matt
Hanley
Kemp.
Ramirez. Oh, definitely did not like him.
Matt Kemp had a pretty swing for a righty, though.
He could mash it for
He
sure.
I think, like Kenley Jansen, even though
Yeah.
I feel like the Giants always kind of raked him,
Yeah.
or he'd always give up.
They get you every now and then.
Yeah.
He was tough though. He was definitely tough.
Can you put Don Mattingly up there?
Dave Roberts.
Yeah. We had a good time at the game.
Yeah, it was a great time. Yeah, I mean, seeing the Giants beat the Dodgers is always great. Logan Webb got out of a first inning jam and was pretty much lights out from there.
When I started listening to it on the radio, I was like, oh, like Logan Webb's pitching.
Yeah.
Did you know that going into it?
I did, although I didn't get overly excited because he has really struggled against the Dodgers the last couple of years.
Well, and he struggled this year so far too.
Well, yeah, the last couple starts he hasn't been very good, but he righted the ship last night.
Great game to go to.
Yeah, saw Luis Matos rob a home run. Mike Yastrzemski went yard.
Were you afraid the Giants were going to lose another center fielder? When you
Honestly, yeah, it didn't look good at first. But,
Happy for you. It seemed like a good time.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good time. I've heard that, especially in that series, there was a lot of Dodger blue in those stands.
Yeah, they
they represent.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that from Southern California that moved up here.
Yeah.
We actually, so the row that we were in was row 1, but really it was row 2 because there's row A in front of us.
Yeah.
But we had cushioned seats and like a bench or whatever in front of us to put our stuff on. It was pretty sweet.
I think I've had those seats before.
Yeah, that was awesome. Only like negative thing that happened during the game was there was another couple sitting like a couple seats in next to us, and so we like gave them an extra seat of space that was actually our seat.
Yeah.
In the top of the 5th inning, this guy comes down to our row. He's like, "Hey, you're in my seat." I'm like, "You're showing up in the fucking 5th inning and have the audacity to be an ass."
That sucks.
And then the dude was on his phone the whole game. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here. Go home."
Did the couple next to you understand? Or?
No, they were fine. Like they weren't in our seats. We just were giving them an extra seat of space because we had the room,
Gotcha.
But they were actually very cool. We were talking to them most of the game.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's his seat, whatever. But
Exactly.
he was just kind of annoying about it. Hey, you're in my seat. Fuck off.
Was he a dick about it, kind of?
Just the way he said it. I don't know. Also, I gotta call Danny out real quick. He thinks he could do the 999 challenge. I don't think so.
No.
I think,
The,
thinking about it, I feel like I'd probably start getting sick after like the third inning.
well, here's my thing with the 999. Can you, for those who don't know, the 999 game is 9 beers and 9 dogs, like hot dogs,
Yeah.
in 9 innings.
Right.
Can you? I don't know. I mean, I know this is all, hypothetical, like the rules or whatever. But like, if I'm doing it, I'm starting out hot. Like I'm gonna eat like 3 dogs probably off the bat if I can. Let it rest.
Well, are the rules like you have to eat one and drink a beer each inning?
Yeah.
Like you can't like get a head start?
Not to say eating and drinking quickly would be any better, but,
I know, right?
but I just think like the mental, like you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to knock a couple out,
And then slow down as you go.
I can rest like 5th, 6th inning,
Yeah.
and then maybe you have to ramp it back up.
Yeah.
Danny couldn't. I mean, Danny can eat and Danny can drink. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think he's underestimating it.
especially if you do it at the ballpark, because I sent you that tweet, you and Garrett, of someone doing it from their house.
Yeah.
I think that way you could do it because you can get like your own size, like little ballpark
Yeah.
brand dogs.
Well, I mean,
how big are hot dogs? Hey, your boy.
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
God,
That's a nice tan he's got.
Just gotta stay out of that tanning bed, dude.
I can't remember the last time I've had a dog at a game. They're probably not small.
I think they do have a smaller version. It's called just
okay.
like the Giants dog or whatever. And that's,
Okay.
I mean, it's close to like the ballpark frame style. It's a 50-point game, by the way.
Jesus Christ. With 4.5 left.
Yeah.
Well, and both teams don't.
They're
have
not playing it.
starters.
Yeah, exactly. I think the beers would be the problem. I think I could do 9 hot dogs in 9 innings, no problem. Like
No
small,
problem?
Yeah, no small ones. Like if I'm not drinking at all, just drinking like water or something. I think I could do it.
I don't.
I wouldn't feel good.
If,
But then you throw beers in there, I'm definitely not doing it.
see me, I think I could do 9 beers in 9 innings.
I could. But
I couldn't do 9 dogs and buns. I couldn't. Like knowing how I am, I could eat.
Yeah.
But I'm not like. I just know how I could drink, and I think I could do 9 beers.
I feel like I just get really full and sick of the beers.
Because you could buy the quote unquote $5 beers wherever they are now, and they're like only this big. And I'm not getting. I like my IPAs,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing 9 IPAs.
I'm thinking 16-ounce Coors Lights are like the standard. Yeah. That's
You think that's standard?
That would be like
for the
for the game.
That's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
I need like an official rule book.
Yeah, I know, right? Even if it was just like 12-ounce cans of Coors Light, that still is gonna be tough.
Yeah, I appreciate Danny thinking that he's all of a sudden Joey Chestnut, but he's not.
I think he's overestimating or underestimating.
Yes, I think so too. I think we all are.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'd be close. I think my max. I mean,
I think I tap out after max 4th inning.
I could do. Yeah, I could probably do 6 beers and 4 dogs.
Over the course of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the course of a game is different, but like you got to think about it.
Oh,
Four
okay.
innings goes by in an hour.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, 4 innings goes by.
Because
in
you
an
have
hour.
to do it by
Yeah.
but like how the game goes.
Sure, I could maybe do 9 beers and 9 hot dogs in a day, like in 16 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could.
it wouldn't be fun.
No,
regardless.
It would be fun.
But anyways,
I mean, if anybody knows or anybody who's ever done it, let us know, and let us know how that person felt after.
Exactly.
Or how it went. 'Cause it's just, I mean, even people who do it, I see on Instagram, like like they're not people I know personally,
yeah.
but they try it, and it doesn't look fun. And what's your checking account looking like after? What's your credit card?
Especially at a baseball.
I mean, god damn, you're spending like $300 on food and drink.
All right. Yeesh. Anyways,
How about like 9 shots and 9? Not even worse.
you'd be fucking hammered.
But the volume wouldn't be as much.
You're right. You're right.
I don't know. That's bad. Danny, if you're listening, try it at your house. I want to see you try to do it at your house.
That'd be less fun, but I'd like to see him do it.
It'd save you a little money.
It's true. All right, today we are drinking ISR throwback vodka Collins.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tastes great.
Mm-hmm. I've been like sweating all day. Just
Yeah.
getting booze out of my system, I guess.
You've been hitting the bottle heavy?
Back on the wagon.
I didn't know you were off.
Oops. So you made a bold prediction over text.
I did. I'm glad you want to mention it now.
Sure, why not?
I
Because
made
they're not going to lose this game.
No, they're not. So I made a bold prediction. I believe it was on Sunday. I said after winning the first 2 games that the Wolves will not win another game against the Nuggets. Not going to happen.
They're going to win Game 6 right now, so
So I'm going to...
we're just going to take a little... Sorry you lost shot.
Thanks. Because this, and I also said this to you and Sal, the situation of them winning 2 and then the Nuggets winning the next 3 just smelt like 2021 NBA Finals. Bucks, Suns, when the Suns won the first 2, people were telling us, oh, Chris Paul's going to be top 5 point guard all time.
Right.
You know, they're going to be champions, yada, yada, yada. And then the Bucks win 4 straight.
Yeah.
And then what happened with this series up until this point?
It was...
First 2 games, Timberwolves, Nuggets are done. Anthony Edwards is the next Michael Jordan. Already crowned him too soon.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that. Clearly I'm wrong. I will own it. I will take a shot at this Montenegro.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. But can you understand where I'm coming from?
Oh, for sure. I thought Denver was going to win today.
Yeah.
So.
But Minnesota, you better be ready. Playing that altitude.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Game 7
It's going to be a raucous crowd.
It is. It is indeed. So let's jump into the news.
Yeah.
The Sharks won the NHL draft lottery, earned the first pick of the draft, first time in franchise history.
Let's go.
They had the second pick back in '97 when they drafted Patrick Marleau.
Does the rebuild start now?
I mean, the rebuild was already underway, but it's got its legs now.
Yeah.
You know?
The Sharks needed this.
Yeah.
They did. After not being able to get Bedard last year.
Yeah. And they didn't have the highest odds last year, so
Okay.
we couldn't be too mad about that. But
What was their pick last year?
4th.
Okay.
Yeah, we got Will Smith.
Getting jiggy with it.
Yeah, hopefully he begins his Sharks career this coming season. The consensus top prospect is Macklin Celebrini, who I don't know if you know the story. His dad is the player, or I think his title is President of Player Performance and Health for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
So
Very cool story.
kind of like a potential homecoming. He actually played a season with the Junior Sharks back in 2020.
It's a great story.
Yeah. So be kind of a cool, have your parents around the corner.
He might not even have to move.
Yeah. Well, he played at Boston University as a 17-year-old this past year, so he went to college early. He also played his junior college in Chicago, so he's been all over the place.
Okay.
And grew up in Vancouver.
Okay.
But we're excited for him. Hopefully, hopefully the Sharks can get this thing turned in the right direction.
Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks, first pick in the NBA draft lottery.
Yeah.
Good for them. They didn't have the highest odds.
Yeah, 10th highest, that's a huge jump.
That is a huge jump.
You don't see that very often.
Not at all.
If ever.
No.
I didn't see if this is the biggest jump in history or not, but it's got to be up there.
I mean, you got to feel for the Pistons, right? Because they have the highest odds, and they got the 5th pick.
Yeah.
So it's Hawks, Wizards, Rockets, Spurs, and Pistons.
Yeah. The only reason I don't feel bad for the Pistons is because they just had a number 1 pick, 2 years ago, right? And they selected Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham, yeah.
So, be better.
I guess so. Well, in the Hawks, you got to think, hey, we were just in the plan.
Right.
The first pick, so
That's pretty cool.
You never know.
It's going to set up for an interesting offseason for them, I feel like, because there's been a lot of talk about them trading Trae Young. Do they say, hey, we're going to hold on to you now and match you up with the number 1 pick this year, or what do you do?
Also, the Spurs, they're in big rebuild mode. They have Wemby.
Mm-hmm.
They have the 4th pick, and they have the 8th pick.
Yeah, that's big.
It's good for them.
Yeah.
My Kings have the 13th pick. Not a sexy pick, but hey, maybe
Yeah.
they can do something.
I forgot the Warriors traded away their first pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to say it might have been part of the Gary Payton trade last year.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but I could be wrong about that.
So congrats to the Hawks. We'll see what they do with it.
It's not being touted as one of the better drafts in recent history, but
I saw on Twitter that it didn't say who said this, but they said whoever I'm botching. I'm not saying this. I'm not quoting it. But
yeah.
It essentially said whoever has the first pick. Or there's a bunch of Tobias Harrises in this draft.
Oh, yeah.
Like the best players are like Tobias Harris.
Right.
Which, I wouldn't love to hear. Tobias Harris is a good player.
Yeah, he's been an all-star.
But you want you want a Wemby or a
Right.
Zion or a Ja.
Right, and there's just unfortunately not going to be one of those guys in every draft.
No.
I've seen some highlights of the guy that's like the top prospect right now, Alexander Sarr.
Yeah.
He looks kind of interesting. He's kind of like a very poor man's version of Wemby, like really long and
Okay.
athletic and got some handles.
Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 4-time winner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. I mean, I know a lot of people, especially Draymond Green, like to talk shit.
Dude, he needs a shutout on TNT. You just can't give it up. Like, dude, let it go.
He's great on TNT, but yeah, he was ripping him pretty hard.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, we get it, dude. You hate him.
Yeah. But being a 4-time winner, I think that ties the most all time since they've been giving out the award.
Yeah.
So I think Ben Gordon, for the Pistons,
Yeah.
I think he has 4.
Or Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace,
Yeah.
excuse me. Ben Gordon also. Ben Gordon played for the Bulls.
Correct. He was like a guard or
Yeah,
something.
okay, yeah. Ben Wallace, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So he definitely was a player.
I mean, 4-time winner for Rudy Gobert, that's going to be getting close to Hall of Fame eventually territory, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not nothing.
Yeah.
I
mean, his teams have never had a ton of playoff success, but the Timberwolves got a chance to go to the conference finals. So
Yeah, exactly.
that would enhance the resume.
I didn't have him. I think I had Giannis as Defensive Player of the Year in our preseason picks.
Ooh. Who did I have? I think I got it right here.
I feel like you picked Bam.
I might have. That sounds kind of right. I went with Evan Mobley,
Evan
actually. Yeah.
Evan Mobley, okay. Well, you did get right. Nikola Jokic named NBA MVP for the 3rd time in 4 years.
Did you go with Luka?
I went with Luka, and it's like, God damn, it's gonna happen
I know.
one year. I'm gonna pick him again next year.
He finished second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because we know how the NBA is. We've said this before. I mean, with Jokic now, it kind of feels like it might be his last one. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not.
It's hard to keep going.
It feels like we've said this before. Voter fatigue is definitely a thing
For sure.
for the MVP.
There was just no one this year that did anything to surpass him, because that also has to happen when when voter fatigue is in play.
So Luka he'll be due. He's due.
Yeah.
Being how good. I mean, I know he's not the best defender, and I know he's.
If the Mavs next year, like if he puts up similar numbers to what he did this year, and the Mavs
Or like
finishing like top 3, yeah, like I feel like that's pretty important, like your record. I feel like Westbrook's MVP was like kind of one of the rare ones where they were not a high seed, but he put up a triple double for the season. So, yeah.
So congrats to you. I like going into you picking that, did it feel like a kind of a cop-out pick because of how good he is?
Yeah, but I also was like in the mindset of, God, they scored 70 tonight. I was also in the mindset of like they're in potential dynasty mode. Like he's just gonna keep,
I guess I'll take that back. I think he could win. Winning 5 MVPs is a lot. I think he can win at least one more.
Him winning another one any time past like the next 2 seasons, I feel like is probably not going to happen. It'll probably have to happen either next year or the year after.
Yeah,
But-
because you gotta think like Luka, Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous is due.
And Wemby's going to start getting into the conversation most likely if he starts scoring and winning games.
Yeah, but congrats to Jokic because he is the 9th player in NBA history with 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure every other player on that list is probably an all-time great Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, congrats to Jokic. He's a great, great player. His team didn't win tonight, but it was a Game 7. You never know.
What do you think about the people that... So there are people that argue that he is like one championship away from being a top 10 player of all time, and then there's people that don't even think he's like a top 5 player in the league right now. I mean, I know that's probably a little more ridiculous than
That is ridiculous.
than the former, but
I think he's the best player in the league.
I think so too. But I just it's and I can understand from an eye test standpoint why people don't think he's would say he's not the best player, because he's obviously not athletic.
And his play is not sexy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think
Like you look at Anthony Edwards and you're like, wow.
yeah.
Like he's got the look.
But I also think like when Steph was at his peak, and people were calling him the best player in the league, it wasn't because of like he was dunking on guys or anything like that. He was probably the best team player And I think that's what Jokic is right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best team player there is. And it doesn't have anything about, he'll take you one-on-one or cross you up or, dunk on you.
Yeah.
It's not his game.
And that's the beauty of basketball and sports, right?
Yeah.
Everyone plays a game kind of differently, but it still works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jokic, he's like a below the rim guy, but he's 7 feet tall.
Right.
Shoots the ball over his head, but can
Yeah.
make every pass on a dime. Steph Curry shoots it from 40 feet out and sinks it. And you got guys like
he's scrawny little guy,
And you got like Michael Jordan back in the 90s, who was a high flyer and a mid-range madman. It's all different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're all equally as effective for their teams.
I guess too, I get annoyed about the people that make those arguments that are like, oh well, one-on-one, like this guy would take him, and it's like, but
one-on-one.
But there's I'm sorry, but there's 8 other guys on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Like
one-on-one. It's like
that's we're not playing street ball.
like you put Wembanyama against Michael Jordan, he's going to give him some fits. It
Right.
could just be because of the height.
And vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Michael's gonna blow by him in a time or two.
So, and when it comes to the top 10 thing, I know we have I'm not going to do any kind of premature GOAT debates right now.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to top 10s and stuff, I would really have to sit down and look at the stats. It's also hard for me to make a top 10 list because 80% of the people on the list have ever seen play.
Totally fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally fair.
if you're asking me, Jokic, in my lifetime or since I've been watching basketball, is he a top 10 player I've ever seen play? Yeah.
I think already.
Already that I've seen play. Yes. Yeah. Could he be top 10 all time when it's all said and done? I mean, yeah, he's got 3 MVPs, a Finals MVP, and a championship, obviously.
Yeah.
On top of that,
and
if
potentially more.
Yeah, if he wins another Finals MVP and another championship, then it's it's only going to add to it.
Right.
The 3 MVPs is what really sticks out. The championship really helped him last year because before that they were like, oh, can he do it?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
There was definitely question
There
marks.
was definitely those question marks.
Yeah.
So he's one of the best I've ever seen at this point in my life. Yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to top 10, he's probably top 20, top 25. I mean, at the least.
Right.
Like I was listening to the podcast I listened to, and Chris Broussard was saying that if he wins another championship this year, Jokic, he's going to put him like top 5 centers of all time, and then like a top 10 player.
Yeah.
Or maybe like top 8 centers. I think he was going to put like Moses Malone out and put Jokic in front of him.
Yeah. I mean,
but then he's like kind of he's a basketball guy. He's like he's a voter for all the big things, and he's watched basketball his whole life.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to say Michael Jordan's the best, and like Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I wasn't even alive when Kareem played his whole career.
Exactly. I mean, just based on like some of the highlights I've seen of some of those guys you just mentioned, see the most skilled center of all time, probably, right? I mean, I know Olajuwon had a lot of good footwork and he could shoot the ball a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this dude's something special.
He is. The WNBA. The season opened on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Caitlin Clark, of course, the former Iowa superstar, megastar, made her pro debut for the Indiana Fever. 20 points, 10 turnovers, which is the most ever in a debut for the WNBA.
A little sloppy.
And the Fever lost, which shouldn't be surprising because there's a reason why they had the first pick.
Right.
92-71. I don't put a lot of stock into her playing poorly and the Fever losing.
Right.
I think the Fever losing first is expected. But when it comes to her struggling, it's not really much of a surprise.
No, I mean,
because she's playing against I saw a good like funny comp. Like the woman who was guarding Caitlin Clark mostly through this game. Someone said it was like when Pat Bev guarded Lonzo Ball when he first came into the league.
Yeah.
Like you just who it is and you want to prove a point.
Exactly.
And I guarantee the girl or the woman who guarded Caitlin Clark the whole game said, "I'm gonna bust this girl's ass."
Yeah.
And she still got 20, but she didn't shoot the ball well either.
Yeah, I didn't see her line, but yeah,
it wasn't very good either.
Yeah.
But this is expected. Like, did I expect Caitlin Clark to just come into the league and drop 55 her first game? No.
I mean,
and also on top of this, I think there was 2 million viewers for this game, which I think is the most in like 25 years in the WNBA for a game.
Right.
And it's only been around for like 30.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think about like Peyton Manning, his first season in the NFL. I know it's two totally different sports,
Troy Aikman.
totally different eras.
Terrible.
But I think Peyton Manning threw like 30 picks in his first season.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone's upset about how his career ended up. It's you gotta.
It's the growing pains.
Yeah, we gotta be patient. And they're not a good team. Obviously, they're the first pick, so they were the worst team last year, I assume, unless there was a lottery. I don't know how it works in the WNBA.
I don't know either. Well, I know I think they had the first pick the previous year too.
Right, they did.
So maybe it's not a lottery, because it seems hard to believe that they could get.
Yeah, maybe they were just that bad. Who knows?
Yeah.
So they as a team, she needs some help too, and they'll get better. She'll get better.
Yeah, don't expect the Indiana Fever to be in the WNBA finals. It's just not going to happen. I don't see it.
Right.
Unless Caitlin Clark goes on an unbelievable heater from here on out.
Right.
It's going to be a struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think she expects that. And, because like I said, every team that plays the Fever, doesn't matter if they're already bad, they see Caitlin Clark and they're like,
That's a challenge.
It's a target.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, she's so great. People, I want to say people respect her so much that it's a target.
Yeah.
And they know that whoever's guarding Caitlin Clark, right there.
Yeah. Just all the flavor options over here.
There's gonna be eyes on every game that she plays.
Yeah. No, for sure. Which I think is good for, it's good for the sport aside from the conversation at hand currently. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. All right, Champions League is down to the final two teams. PSG, unfortunately, eliminated by Dortmund after a 1-0 defeat at home. They lost 2-0 on aggregate. PSG also said farewell to Mbappe during their final League One game at home on Sunday. I didn't see this, but apparently it was something about it was awkward.
Really?
But I feel like he's generally had nice things to say about his time, and it unfortunately never culminated in any kind of championships in Europe.
Yeah.
But a lot of League One titles, so definitely nothing to be too upset about over his tenure.
No. Great player.
Yeah, I mean they spent a lot of money on that roster over the years, so the expectations were high, understandably.
Of course.
On the other side, Real Madrid advancing to another Champions League final after beating Bayern in epic fashion the other day. They scored the tying goal in the 88th minute, and then the winning goal in the 91st to beat them 2-1 and advance 4-3 on aggregate. They're going to play Dortmund Saturday, June 1st.
Okay.
For the Champions League title. Madrid going for number 15. Let's go Dortmund, baby.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sal.
Sal's Niners might always break his heart, but at least he has Real Madrid.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I mean, he jumped on a wagon. There's no question about that.
I do. I mean, he'll let us know after I say this, but I wonder, is this fandom for him like from birth, or like when did it start?
I want to say he was texting us about it, and he said something along the lines of, "I started following them around the time that Cristiano Ronaldo got there, but they also weren't a powerhouse at the time. They're a powerhouse over history. They're kind of like the Yankees of soccer."
Ooh, that's a bad look.
I know, right? But yeah, they weren't like winning a lot at that time. But of course, since Cristiano Ronaldo showed up, they've done plenty of winning.
Yes.
And yeah, so pretty much soccer season's in the books for us. We'll keep track of that game, of course, but it's over.
Peace.
The
NFL schedule got released, and this is now a big deal. I mean, we know prior to yesterday who we were going to play. We just don't know when.
The teams, we just don't know, when.
Yeah. So Chiefs versus Ravens is first game of the season.
Yep.
Which is not surprising. They always give
pretty sexual matchup.
Yes.
Sexy, sorry, not sexual. It could be sexual, I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
Whatever. You dropped a bomb on me right there. I wasn't expecting you to say that. Chiefs, Ravens, they always give the opening game to the champions. I don't know if you forgot, but the Chiefs are the champions.
Oh, yeah. Did they won?
They won, yeah.
They did. Right. That's right. I knew it was a red team.
Yeah. So that'd be, like you said, a very sexual matchup. Your Niners are going to play the Jets on opening Monday night.
Bring it on, Aaron. Let's go.
I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're thinking,
fuck my life.
I got to play Monday night I got to open a game Monday night again?
He should just not play.
I heard. Did you hear Mike Greenberg's whole rant? He said that.
Did he?
He's like, essentially, he said like, Rodgers should not even play this game. Act like it doesn't even exist.
That's funny. I mean, I was obviously being sarcastic. But...
Well, and I think the guy who tackled him to tear his ACL is now in the Niners.
Oh,
I forget his name.
who were they playing? It was the Bills, right? Yeah, it was the Bills.
Didn't the Jets still win?
They did on that punt return.
Yeah, I think so.
What Leonard Floyd? Was it Leonard Floyd? Because he was on the Bills last year.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's wild. Leonard Floyd, you're playing every snap.
So I mean,
Week 1, get ready.
Cowboys play the Browns week 1. It's gonna be a tough matchup. It's on the road.
I'm interested to see how Deshaun Watson plays this coming season.
Yeah, me too.
He's got to stay healthy, obviously, but he has been of zero value to the Browns since he showed up.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a very quick version of what we think our team's records are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do this now, and then we're going to reevaluate in about 3 months.
Yeah.
Before
when the offseason banter starts to,
Yeah, exactly.
culminate.
Injuries can happen.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. So, do you want to start off?
Sure, yeah. So I'll do the Niners, and you're going to obviously do the Cowboys. Week 1, Monday night against the Jets. I'm chalking that up as a W for the 49ers.
You guys are playing Aaron Rodgers.
At home, Aaron Rodgers does not like beating the Niners. He's done it a couple times in the regular season, but not this time, buddy. Week 2, we're going to Minnesota. I don't know that they're really going to have their quarterback situation figured out at that point, so I'm going to take the Niners.
Is it going to be Dobbs? Oh, no, Dobbs isn't there anymore.
Dobbs on the Niners.
Yeah.
They don't have him.
Is it going to be Darnold or is it going to be McCarthy?
That's going to be the question. And the Niners were Kyle Shanahan's probably going to take that loss from last year against Minnesota personally and try and get some revenge.
I heard today, Niners haven't beat Minnesota in Minnesota since '92.
Wow. Well,
roughly.
We're going to change that this year.
I think you will too. Because you know how I am about the Niners. They hardly ever lose, except when it counts.
Yeah.
The Niners are going to win probably 12 to 13 games. But you can keep going.
Yeah, we'll see. So the following week, they're going to head to LA to face the Rams. Generally speaking, the Niners own the Rams in the regular season. But the Rams beat the Niners in the last game. I know it was a kind of a nothing game.
Carson Wentz was playing.
Yeah, you're right.
It still counts on the stat sheet.
Right.
But when the games have really counted, they can't beat Niners
unless
it's the NFC Championship.
This is true. Now, Sean McVay is a really good coach, and I think that he will finally get over the hump. And I have my reservations about the Niners, especially on the defensive side, because they regressed quite a bit throughout the season last year. So I'm going to take the Rams to get them in this one.
Okay.
Week 4, hosting New England, W. Week 5, hosting Arizona. I'll give the Niners a win on that one, so they'll be 4-1 at that point. Although I think Arizona's going to be better this year.
Yeah.
Going to Seattle on a Thursday. I'm not worried about Geno. That's a W.
No.
5-1.
No.
Kansas City. I know their Niners are going to be at home, but it's Patrick Mahomes and he owns the Niners, so that's a loss. 5-2 for the Niners. Then we got the Cowboys.
Come on.
I'm going to take the Niners at this point. Not bad. I'll take the Niners.
They own the Cowboys.
They kind of do.
They do.
They kind of do.
The Cowboys cannot beat them. What did I say? Doesn't matter if it's at Levi's or on Mars. I'm taking the Niners.
The only interesting thing about this is it will be Niners coming off a tough game against Kansas City and the Cowboys coming off a bye.
Exactly.
But, Sunday night game, bright lights, deck gets very dim.
I just want to know what are our plans for that game.
Yeah.
Another Sunday night Cowboy Niner game?
Osceolas again? Run it back?
God, that was brutal.
So
hopefully the final score isn't 42-10.
Right.
For my sake.
So at this point, I got the Niners 6-2 going to the bye. Can't lose in the bye, so still 6-2. At Tampa Bay, week 10, 10 o'clock coming off the bye. I'll take the Niners. They'll be healthy at that point.
Is it at Tampa?
It's at Tampa,
okay.
10 a.m. But they get time to acclimate.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll leave early since that's an East Coast game. Then all the way back home against Seattle. I like the Niners against Seattle. I think Seattle's probably the worst team in the NFC West this year.
Okay.
So 8-2 at Green Bay is going to be tough. I think the Packers had the Niners last year in the playoffs. They really did. They let that one slip away. I feel like the Packers are going to get them. I think Green Bay is going to be tough. And we've seen, it could be cold November 24th. That's Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
We've seen Brock struggle in cold weather. So I'll take the Packers there. Then the following week we go to Buffalo. That's not going to be fun.
That might be the toughest game.
That's a tough little 2-game stretch right there.
I think the Bills game might be the toughest one, given everything on your schedule.
Yeah.
Given that it's December at Buffalo.
Right.
We know Brock struggles we all know the weather's going to be in December, but.
Right.
I mean, I'm willing to bet it's going to be cold.
So, I mean, it's going to be 8:20 local time, so Sunday night.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give the Bills that one. That's not going to be an easy game. So 8-4. Back home against the Bears, I'll give the Niners a W on that one. They'll rebound, and then
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Caleb Williams coming to Santa Clara.
Number 18, Caleb Williams.
Week 15 against the Rams, Niners going to take care of them that time. Then they go to Miami. It'll be the battle of a former assistant.
Yeah.
I like the Niners there, so that'll put them at. Let's see. I totally missed. So after Buffalo, they were 8-4, got them beaten. So 10-4, 11-4 after Miami. So going back home to Detroit, play Detroit. That's gonna be tough.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
That could be for the 1 seed.
It could be. I'll give it to Detroit. I think they'll get them.
Okay.
So I'll put the Niners at 11-5, and we go to Arizona for the final game of the year. I'll give the Niners a W on that one. So I got them 12-5. I was kind of in my mind. I was thinking 11-6 because I knew their schedule was going to be a little tougher.
So not a Super Bowl hangover.
No,
that's still a good amount of games won.
I think it's definitely it wouldn't shock me if the Niners kind of just unraveled a little bit and only won like 9 games.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening at all.
I mean, their roster's great. There's no question about that. But the defense has me a tad worried, and we'll see with Brock.
Yeah.
I think the jury's still out to some degree. I know it sounds stupid to say that about a guy that just went to the Super Bowl, but didn't have his best game in the Super Bowl.
Hey, you're the fan. You watch. I'm not gonna.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, as a fan who watches pretty much every snap versus someone who will just glamorize over a team that wins a lot of games. Fans see more than the average person.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the Cowboys. Ooh, what can I say? First game at Cleveland. That's a loss in my opinion. I don't like it. I don't like it. First home game of the season against the Saints. I think that's gonna be a win for the Cowboys. I think that's gonna be a win.
Saints might sneak. Honestly, they were a disappointment last year.
Week 3 home, playing the Ravens. That's not. They're gonna lose that game. They just don't beat good teams. We know this. This is what it is. They play at New York to face the New York Football Giants. I think they're gonna win that game. I think they win that one. Week 5 at Pittsburgh. That's a tough one. I think it's kind of
Pittsburgh makes it interesting.
That is. Don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be. That might be a factor.
Yeah.
Might be a distraction. But I know that's a tough one.
Yeah. Pittsburgh could be in desperation mode at that point too. Like if they're 0-3.
My heart tells me they win that game.
Okay.
So that's 3-2 so far. Week 6, home for Detroit. I think Detroit's going to avenge the loss.
Yeah.
The Monday night debacle from last year. So I think they're going to lose to the Lions. Bye week 7, like you said, they can't lose. And then, of course, week 8 at San Francisco, game of the year for me, the one that matters the most.
The Super Bowl of the regular season.
They're going to lose that one. They're going to lose that one for sure. So 2 straight losses. Then they go to at Atlanta. Quarterback situation. I mean, it's going to be Kirk Cousins, but you never know. It could be Michael Penix. But I'll probably bank on it being Kirk Cousins. Yeah. And they're going to have a good team. But I think it's a winnable game. I will chalk it up as a win for the Cowboys. So as of right now, they're 4-4. Week 10, home for Philly. I'll probably have them splitting with Philly, so I think I'll say they'll beat them at home against Philly. Why not? Battle for Texas against the Texans. Monday Night Football, by the way.
Oh. Ooh.
At home, the Cowboys.
That's nice.
I think the Texans beat them.
Texans had an interesting team.
I really do.
Yeah.
At the Commanders, I think they're going to lose one game against the Commanders.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders are going to be kind of sneaky this year.
I mean, Jaden Daniels could be fun.
Division games, I just don't want to be that kind of guy and say, oh, they're going to win every division game except for the Eagles.
Right.
So I think...
They did last year, though, right? Didn't they go 5-1 in division?
I think they did.
Yeah.
But so, different years.
Right.
And the Jaden Daniels effect, because the defense isn't going to be used to seeing him.
Right. That's fair.
So I'm gonna go loss at Washington. So I have a 5-6 right now. Home Giants. I do think they'll beat the Giants twice.
Yeah, the Giants are...
I think they'll beat the Giants twice. So I have them winning against the Giants as right now. They're
Especially with those new fucking uniforms they got.
6-6, and then week 4. Yeah, God, I think they're only gonna wear those a few games
I hope.
out of the year. If you don't know about the Giants, the New York Football Giants uniforms they're gonna wear, go look them up. They are a throwback, like Sal said, like somebody wore probably like in the 50s, 40s,
Yeah.
30s. They're just they're bad.
When I first saw it, I didn't realize it was their post, and I was like, "Who the fuck? Like, what sport is that? What team?" Like, and I instantly thought Montreal Canadiens. That's what they look like.
It's not good. It's not good.
Anyways.
Week 14, home against the Bengals. I mean,
tough. Is Joe Burrow going to be healthy?
that's what I was just gonna say. Is Joe Burrow gonna be there? Because if he is, I'm saying it's a loss to the Cowboys, so I'm gonna chalk it up as a loss. So I'm assuming everyone's healthy every game that they play.
Fair enough.
At the Panthers, I gotta go Cowboys. I mean, the Panthers are
Bad.
not good.
Yeah.
So going into Week 16, I have the Cowboys 7-7. Home for Tampa. That's gonna be a tough one. It's not gonna be. It's a Sunday night football game, really. Okay.
Yeah. Baker and the boys made the playoffs last year.
Oh man, I could see that being. It could be a sneaky loss, but I think I'll give them the win. Why not?
Is that you said at Tampa?
No, the Cowboys are home.
Okay.
At Philly, Cowboys are gonna lose that one. And then the Commanders, I think they're gonna win. At home, so as
You got
right,
8-8?
9-8.
9-8?
Yeah.
All right.
Just like what Sal sent us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair. I mean, I'm not going to be that kind of. I mean, I've never been that Cowboys fan to say
Yeah.
like, oh, 12 and whatever it is, 6 now
Yeah.
off the bat.
I think 9-8 is reasonable.
Yeah, and that could still get you a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And nothing crazy.
Good stuff.
And did you? So we talked about this. The Cowboys and Niners have 6 primetime games this year,
Yeah.
apiece.
Yeah.
Not really out of the ordinary for the Cowboys. Not trying to sound like a douche, but that's just how it is.
Right.
Niners, obviously, they're a great team. They're perennial NFC championship game, Super Bowl contender.
Right.
So it's not really surprising either. Do you know the other team that has the most? There's 3 teams that have 6 primetime
The
games.
Jets, right?
Yeah. They're really, really banking on Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
this year.
were you seeing the quote? Like the NFL
Yeah.
thinks the Jets owe them one. I'm like, what is? I don't even know what that means. Just like, sorry, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Doesn't mean the Jets are going to be amazing last year. You know, like get off your fucking high horse.
Also, Sal, friend of the show, he's delusional, and he might have been fucking around, which he probably was, but he thinks the Cowboys will win against the Niners Week 8.
Oh.
So he told me, remember this. So I want everybody listening to remember this as well, because it's not going to happen.
We got, 5 months till that game? Maybe 6?
Yeah. Also, the Panthers, the only team with no primetime games this year.
Sucks to suck, guys.
That's what happens when you stink. And real quick, rookie numbers. I finally know the numbers of the rookies that are, the
most important.
most
guys.
important
Yeah.
ones. Jaden Daniels, number 5. What do you think?
That's what he wore in college, right?
Yeah. Michael Penix, number 9.
Fine with me.
Drake May, number 10. Sorry, Jimmy G. Sorry, Mac Jones.
I'm okay with that. Hasn't been a very lucky number in New England, but
Bo Nix, number 10.
okay.
And J.J. McCarthy, number 9.
And those guys all wore that number in college, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. A lot of 10s, a lot of 9s.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I just I'm still struggling with 18 on Caleb, but I'll probably get used to it.
It's a little weird.
It's a big number for a quarterback.
Well, what's funny is if he was 13, the difference of 13 and 18 is just a half,
Right.
it's just a half
On the
circle.
uniform, yeah. Because it's more of like a psychological thing.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Devin, she has a bold prediction. Take a shot. I have not seen her take a shot, but I will add it to the list. She says the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Stop. Are we even chalking that up as a real prediction?
I mean, you can talk to her about it. I'm sure she'll let you know about it.
I mean, the Bills definitely didn't get better
I will not put it in the books
until she's on the show.
until I see her take a shot for
Okay.
it. Whether it's on the show, whether it's at a bar, whether it's at NASCAR in 3 weeks.
All right.
I have to see a shot first before I put it in the books.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. Also, no Giants update this week because they stink, but they did get the dub yesterday, like we already mentioned. So, shout out to the boys.
They have to play the Rockies soon, and the Rockies are white hot. Like
They are.
They're like
After-
won like 7 or 8
After the
straight.
Giants left Colorado, they just fucking started.
beat the Rangers and beat the Padres.
Yeah.
Swept them both.
Love it.
No, we don't, because they got to play the Giants again.
Well, they beat the Padres for us, so we'll take
Okay,
it.
I'll take that, yeah.
The Giants are still sitting in tasty 4th place. They're just like they're battered by injury right now.
Oh, God.
Like half the team's on the injury
I
list.
mean, Jorge Soler gets hit by his own ball.
Fucking Patrick Bailey comes back from one day off the concussion IL, or right back on it. Sweet.
When can we put Pat Bailey at first base?
Yeah.
Just,
Hey, Kurt Casale's back. You see?
yeah.
Hell
He was
yeah.
there last night.
He had a base hit, scored a run, caught a good ball game.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
just, yeah, I'm really afraid, and I know this is only the news and it's going on pretty long, but Jung-Hoo Lee might be out for the season, and it's just,
Apparently, he was getting his second opinion today, so we'll know more next time we come on the show.
and what did I say? If you're getting a second opinion, it's probably bad news.
Right. You're just praying for better news.
So, I mean, it just sucks, because I really like this game, and I like seeing him adjust to the game,
Yeah.
or, the United States version of the game.
Right.
It's just tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
It just sucks. And that's part of the game, though.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
All right, we're not going to take a break. We're going to jump right into the Stanley Cup Playoffs, since why not? We're watching it right now. You got Canucks Oilers, Battle of Western Canada. This series is 2-2. All 4 games have been decided by 1 goal to this point. I think this game is 2-2 in the second period right now. I just saw a big hit by Vancouver. Yep, 2-2 halfway through this game. So,
Okay.
been a good series so far.
Yeah.
Vancouver, they scored 4 unanswered goals to win game 1 by a final score of 5-4, I believe it
Yeah,
was. That was a
yeah.
wild game. Also, Leon Draisaitl, potential Shark in a couple of years, has been lighting it up for Edmonton. 3 goals, 7 assists in 4 games so far.
This vodka soda White Claw, the wild cherry, it's tough.
I'm just cherry flavored
What do you
anything. I got the watermelon. It's not great either. White Claw missed on these ones.
The wild cherry taste, when it sits in your mouth,
A little syrupy or what?
just, it sticks around. It just sticks around.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
that's not it.
It reminds me of like Dover circa like 2021.
To me, that tastes like every black or cherry, whatever flavored
Yeah.
seltzer. Not good.
No, Dover circa like 2020 when
Yeah.
we were really hitting it hard.
Yeah.
Just not good. But I'm gonna finish it.
Yep.
I'm gonna finish it.
Just made me feel a lot better about this watermelon.
You chose wisely.
Yeah. The other Western Conference Series Stars lead the Avalanche 3-2. Colorado avoided elimination last night. They won that game 5-3. Colorado came back from a 3-goal deficit back in game 1 to win that one 4-3 in overtime. That was a major meltdown for the Stars, especially after that huge game 7 against Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm sure they kind of ran out of gas. Game 6 will be tomorrow in Colorado. Let's go Stars.
What's cool about this series, going to another sport, is the possibility of the Nuggets Mavericks playing in the conference
Oh,
finals.
yeah.
So you just have Dallas against Colorado all over again.
Yeah.
But Stars, we're rooting for Joe Pavelski.
Yeah, he finally scored his first goal in the
I saw
postseason
that. I saw
just
that.
yesterday.
Love that.
Hasn't been a great postseason for him. Oddly enough, he was
Yeah.
one of the top scorers for the.
Stars all season, so
Oh, okay.
hopefully he can kick it into gear and
Yeah.
lead these boys to another Stanley Cup appearance. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Rangers beat the Hurricanes in 6 games. They closed it out tonight. They won the first 3 games, all by 1 goal, and games 2 and 3 both in overtime. Pretty exciting stuff. And they scored 4 unanswered goals today to win Game 6 by a final score of 5-3. The other series in the East is the Panthers and Bruins. Panthers are leading that series 3-2 at the moment. The Bruins staved off elimination with a 2-1 win in Game 5. Boston captain Brad Marchand, he's been out the last couple of games after a big hit from Sam Bennett in Game 3. That was controversial. I mean, I saw it. People were calling it dirty. It seemed like just a hit. It just kind of hit him in the head. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah.
It was just they were kind of coming at each other. But he's hoping to suit up for Game 6 tomorrow, which should be a fun one. I love in hockey that these series are never over until the final game is coming on, because in the NBA, when a team's up like 3-1 in a series, generally speaking, it's over.
Historically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
In hockey, it's far from the case. I mean, Carolina was leading today. They were had a real good chance to tie that series at 3.
I mean, root for the Panthers heavily.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's like Boston, and I've said this before, it's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
It's like, god damn, how much do you need?
and
How much do you need?
generally speaking, talking to Boston fans about their sports teams are not generally the funnest people to hang around.
No.
You know?
I mean, I can't say I have much experience with that, but
Yeah.
it's like, come on, let's go Panthers.
There's just an arrogance about the city.
Yeah. And I texted,
New York can be that way a little bit too. But
well, yeah, I texted Nico about the Rangers, and I was like, I imagine, because it's really nice to be a New York sports fan right now,
right.
unless you're a Giants fan.
Yeah.
But like between the Knicks and the Rangers, it's going really well.
Yeah.
And I texted Nico and I said, I was like, I have to imagine the Knicks right now in New York are, a lot, like the fandom is a lot bigger than the Rangers. And
Yeah.
obviously it is, but he said the people who root for the Rangers,
They're into it.
they root for the Rangers. You know
That place is fucking, MSG is rocking when they, I mean, not that it's not when the Knicks are there, but when the Rangers are winning games.
It's hockey.
Yeah.
It's hockey atmosphere.
Playoff hockey is a different,
Yeah.
it's a different atmosphere
Yeah.
than you see in really any sport.
And honestly, me even asking that was kind of a silly question because
Yeah.
the Knicks are like one of the most well-known, I would say, sports brands in all of sports.
Right.
Everyone knows Madison Square Garden. Everyone knows that Knicks logo is classic. But I mean, people do love their Rangers.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the Rangers have been around longer than the Knicks.
Yeah, and I feel like it's got to be more of a cult at this point. I mean, there's a lot of fans of the Rangers, but
Yeah.
it's almost like if you really love the Rangers, it's like, oh man, like he really cares.
Yeah.
Because you go to you see people at a Knicks game and you see
It's
Ben,
a celebrity
You see Ben
shit.
Stiller. You see
Yeah.
like every player, every cast member from SNL there.
Right.
It's like Lakers East.
Well, you can really just make that argument at hockey in general. Like if fans that are at hockey playoff games are legit fans.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In basketball, like across the board, doesn't matter what team. If you're a celebrity in that town, you're gonna see those people at the games. Yeah. May not be the biggest actual fans.
But I wonder if a lot of it is for the celebrity standpoint of basketball. How you can, obviously in hockey, you can't sit on the ice.
Exactly. I think that is a huge part of it.
You could sit like on the court or very close to the court,
Right.
and it's easy to see.
Right.
Obviously, there's the plexiglass and all that, but it's like you can't have your feet on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I would say basketball is number 1 sport to be seen. Baseball would be number 2, because you can kind of be like behind home plate or near the dugout, whatever. And then football and hockey would be, I'd say football's 3 because the press boxes get the camera action a lot.
And I was just gonna say, in hockey, when you see celebrities, the slight chance that you do,
Yeah.
they're always in the press box.
Exactly.
They're never like the glass. They're never like
Occasionally, but yeah.
yeah, very occasionally.
Yeah.
But you never see them like
Exactly.
hitting the plexiglass.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the NBA playoffs. Starting in the Western Conference, Dallas Mavericks lead the Thunder 3 games to 2 in the series. Huge win for the Mavs in Game 5. Luka, big triple-double, 30 points. I mean, after they blew Game 4, Dallas that is, I kind of felt like
It was dumb.
Thunder had a lot of
Yeah.
a big time momentum, especially going
Yeah.
back home, and for them to turn around and get that W, I thought that was massive. I
Well,
mean,
they win it, in OKC, and now Game 6, the
Back
possible series clinching game is at home. You really couldn't ask for more.
Right.
I mean, obviously, them winning the game that they blew is asking for more.
Yeah.
But like, as the things are right now, going home for Game 6 when you're up 3-2, I mean,
Kind of makes me feel like they're gonna blow it again.
it smells like Game 7 if you ask me. But
Yeah.
like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
Like Luka, if you want to beat the allegations and prove to everybody that you're not the white James Harden,
Yeah.
like, do what you have to do. I don't care if it's a 20-point game and 10 assists or if it's a 40-point triple-double.
Yeah.
Get it done. Got to get it done. And and we've seen from this Thunder team, which I love about them, is they don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, they play until the fourth quarter's done.
Right.
Like, they will keep scoring.
For sure.
You got to put the throat on the neck, or the foot on the neck. Excuse me, on the foot on the throat.
Throw it on the throat. Twist the knife.
Yeah, like show no mercy.
For sure. Going back to your point about Luka and watching Game 3, I felt like was even though he can be a little tough to watch just because he like tries to draw contact a lot, he complains to the refs a lot,
And he shoots a lot of long threes,
a lot of dumb
well,
threes.
and he'll hit them.
Yeah,
But sometimes you're like,
was that the best shot?
like you're not Steph.
But I felt like he played a really good Game 3. He was willing to trust his teammates a lot. He didn't have to be the guy that scored or even the guy that assisted. He filtered the ball out and Kyrie was huge in that game, not with his scoring but with his facilitating.
Yeah.
And PJ Washington was lights out from 3.
Yeah.
He's been huge for the Mavs in the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like seeing Luka take a little less burden, because sometimes I just feel like he feels like he's got to put up 45 for them to win, and that's just not always the recipe.
No, he doesn't have to.
Yeah, it really shouldn't be the recipe.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a long-term winning recipe.
I can understand it if you get to the fourth quarter or even second half of a game and the rest of the teams they're not doing it for you, and you start feeling like you need to score. And if you're cooking too, that's another thing. But I just don't think that should be his mindset going into any game. He needs to be more willing to trust his teammates.
Like, what player besides Michael Jordan can average 35 and it still matters? Like, it doesn't hurt their team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, yeah. I mean, the Mavericks, you got to do it. If not now, then when?
Right. I don't think they're going to go to the finals.
I know. I don't think
They're obviously in the driver's seat to get to the conference finals.
Although I do think and it's gonna sound funny because I think if they play the Wolves, they have a chance. Even though you could say, well, if they beat the Nuggets, you think they can't beat the Mavs.
I think matchup wise, either way, they're going to be at a disadvantage.
I guess the length of the Wolves.
Just the size that they have, and Jaden McDaniels is just going to continue to give Luka fits. It would come down to me to Kyrie having a huge series, and then them finding one other guy to be a big contributor. Maybe it's PJ Washington.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Tim Hardaway finally getting his shit together. I don't know.
But also, let's give Jason Kidd some kudos. Because yes, he has 2 really good players on his team, but
it's kind of the rest is a little bit limited after that, no?
yeah, and they might make it to their second conference finals with him. They might. I'm not gonna
Yep.
guarantee
Series not
it.
over. Series not over.
Yeah, I had something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. I hate when I do that.
It happens. We can come back to it.
That's all good. Nuggets Wolves
Now tied.
tied in the series. After today's game, I don't know. I mean, I could probably.
All bets are off.
I mean, if I had to put a bet down, I'd say Nuggets win because it's at home.
Yeah.
In the elevation.
They get a little time to breathe and get back home in the comfort of their own arena.
I believe they play Sunday.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun one. I mean, this series has been a lot closer. Well, I mean, people were giving Minnesota credit coming in, but I think even so, it's been a lot tighter than people had expected, especially when Minnesota won the first 2 games on the road. But of course, Denver bounced back in a big way, won the next 3. And here we are, tied at 3.
going to Game 7.
Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Nuggets too.
Yeah.
I have a hard time betting against Jokic in a big spot. I mean, he really took on the challenge of Rudy Gobert over the last handful of games. Didn't work out today, but it's a team game, and I like the Nuggets to bounce back and be better at home.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember what I wanted to say. I think, if I remember correctly, Kyrie Irving, 13-0 in his career in closeout games.
That's a big number.
That's something.
That's not nothing at all.
That's something.
Yeah.
I think 12-0, 13-0.
Yeah, that's wild. I did not know that.
That's,
A lot of those games with LeBron on his side,
of course.
but still.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of his career with the Celtics in the playoffs. Was that only 1 or 2 years? I don't want to like go on a tangent here, but
I feel like it's 1.
yeah,
No, maybe 2. He wasn't there long.
it was a pretty short stint.
Also, the Celtics, we're going to get to them. They made it to the conference finals 6 out of the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Or 6 times in 8 years.
It's impressive.
With no rings, that's kind of like Niner
I
territory.
know,
That's like Niner territory.
It is, man. It is.
It just, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
The Knicks lead the Pacers 3-2 in the series. Jalen Brunson is
Cooking.
on an incredible heater.
Yeah.
32 points a game, 5 assists a game. He's had 5 40-point games this postseason.
He's
And
averaging
this
like-
is just like, I can't remember any player in the NBA having this kind of a peak in a playoff series when they weren't really, not gonna say anything, but like
Just elevating their game that much.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I love about guys like this is like, in it, you know, I would maybe compare him in a way to like what we've seen Jimmy Butler do at times in the postseason. What Anthony Edwards had been doing quite a bit already this postseason.
Yeah.
You know, come playoff time, they take it to another level. I wouldn't like LeBron's always really good, so I wouldn't necessarily say him. I mean, Michael Jordan, I'm sure historically is.
Well, and that's the thing about like all those guys that you said
Yeah,
are all to me like physically imposing.
yeah,
Like Jalen Brunson to me,
he's just a little guy.
he just looks like a regular dude.
Yeah.
But he's just cooking everybody.
Yeah,
And his game's a little different because he's a lefty.
yeah.
But he makes it work.
And he's got like that little speed burst that he hits. You know, when
Yeah.
you know, he can blow by guys. He'll lower his shoulder too and get a little bit physical. He's
It seems like it's coming out of nowhere.
yeah. And like no one can stop him. You know, it's pretty crazy to watch.
It's like the team knows he's going to score 40. And
Yeah.
they're not doing anything. About
Right.
it. They can't do anything about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, maybe the Pacers aren't the best example of a good defensive team trying to stop him,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's been unbelievable this postseason.
Game 6 tomorrow in Indiana. I think they'll close it out, although I'd love to see a Game 7 at the Garden because that just sounds so sexy.
It does, yeah.
That just sounds great.
Especially, I love that they're playing the Pacers too because it just got like I think we talked about it last time around.
Yeah.
Just kind of throwing it back to the '90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, a
with
few
these two
nights.
franchises.
I think the last game they played, I saw. I think it was. I don't know what side of the court it was, but it was on, like the seats behind the basket.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing this guy like get into the frame. I'm like, who the hell is that? It's John Starks.
Oh yeah.
The dude wants to, I swear the dude wants to throw on a jersey and start playing. I guarantee it. He's like eating popcorn out of the bag and just
Yeah.
like having a good time hanging out.
Because-
Hanging out like Marbury, I think.
Yeah, that's who it was. So
Yeah.
I was like, there was another Nick, and it was Marbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
It is really good. It's great for the NBA.
Yeah.
Great for the sport. And the Knicks are, I mean, like legitimately good.
Right.
Like I don't think I've ever seen the Knicks since I've been watching basketball be this good in the
Right.
playoffs this late.
I mean, the best Knicks teams we've probably seen were with Melo, and no one ever thought they were going to win anything. You know.
Because they went to the finals, I think, like in '99 or 2000. But I didn't watch.
No,
I
yeah.
didn't watch them back then. you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, those mellow teams, I would say, are the best ones that
Yeah.
they've had. And this team just kind of feels. And I heard this on the radio. They feel like they're New York.
Yeah. Got some grittiness to them.
Yeah, it just feels like New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is funny that they're all like Villanova guys, which is I'm pretty sure Villanova's in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is definitely not New York.
Yeah.
But
You know, I think eventually when it gets there, Knicks, Celtics, conference finals,
It's gonna be fun.
The NBA is just foaming from the mouth
Oh, yeah.
right now.
Oh yeah.
Those home games, doesn't matter, you know, whether it's Boston or the Garden, it's gonna be great.
I hope the Knicks give them a run for their money. Like I hope it's not like a 5-game series. You know.
Yeah, I hope it goes 6 or 7.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I and we talked about it last time around, but I feel like the Knicks are destined to burn out a little bit, especially with like Brunson and Hart playing 42, 43 minutes every damn night. Like, we'll see. Should be fun.
Speaking of the Celtics, they took care of the Cavs in 5 games. Boston closed the series out last night with a 113-98 win. It's just kind of the same old. The Celtics, they just kind of keep rolling along.
Yeah, I mean, we figured this would be a shorter series.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that Donovan Mitchell missed the last couple games. Jared Allen didn't play much in the series.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, but
You're playing the best team in the league record-wise.
Right.
Down a couple guys. It's like, come on.
yeah.
What do you really expect?
All right, so I'm pretty darn certain these are going to be the final contender rankings of the season.
Okay.
So let's line them up, belt them out. I gotta double check my notes here. Make sure they're right.
With the Nuggets and the Wolves now being tied, it makes it a little harder, especially with being the last ones of the year.
Certainly makes things interesting. You know, my list has hardly changed though, actually, from last week.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah, mine's a little different. Hardly. I got Nuggets, Celtics, Wolves, Mavericks, which just feels weird even saying that, but they were up 3-2.
Yep.
And then I got OKC and the Knicks, which I don't think the Knicks are going to win the championship, but I got to
Yeah.
work with what I got. Sorry, Pacers. I just
No. I'm with you. I have the Celtics still at number 1 from last week. Nuggets still at number 2. Wolves still at number 3, and Mavs still at 4. I flip-flopped the Knicks and the Thunder. Because thinking about it too, say hypothetically those teams met in the finals, I think I would take the Knicks to beat the Thunder. At this point, it'd be an interesting series.
Yeah.
But
that'd be insane.
yeah, yeah, those two teams there.
Just the
Without-
idea
Yeah.
of it being Knicks Thunder.
But yeah, other than that, this the fact that our number 2 and 3, you have Nuggets at 1, right?
Yeah.
They're playing in a game 7.
I mean,
isn't that crazy?
yeah. I mean, if I had to change it, I'd probably go Celtics,
Yeah.
Nuggets, but I'm gonna stick with what I had originally.
And I don't totally disagree with you having Nuggets above Celtics, but I have been thinking about it more and just. Like,
Do you think if they met in the finals, that the Celtics would beat them?
I'm kind of thinking that now.
Wow,
I'm leaning more that way, and part of it is because I think clearly, even though the Wolves are probably the toughest matchup that the Nuggets are going to have this postseason, the Nuggets are definitely not the team they were last year, and that's not a huge margin, but they're not as good as they were last year. And I do think the Celtics are significantly better than they were last year. So I think on paper the Celtics definitely better than the Nuggets, but the Nuggets have Jokic and he is the man. So that he would be the potential difference maker.
He is absolutely the man.
Yeah. So next time we get together, we will we'll probably already have our conference finals picks in the books, and we'll let everybody know who we picked. But we'll just give a pre-finals prediction at the same time.
How are our predictions points going for the playoffs?
So they haven't. Well, I guess they have sort of changed because the Celtics won. Let's tap into that real quick. So let's. We both had Boston in 5. So you're still at like 2 points.
Okay.
I don't remember if we explained how we were scoring to the people, but we'll do a little refresher. You get 1 point for getting the winning team correct, and if you get that winning team correct and the amount of games that they win the series in correct, you get a bonus point. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are currently at 10 points, and I'm at 8.
Okay.
We both have the Knicks in 6, so if it won't change anything, but we'll get points if they close it out tomorrow or extra
Gotcha.
points.
Okay.
I had Denver in 6, so I lost my chance at a bonus point today. You got a real good shot with Denver, picking Denver in 7.
Yeah.
But the only series we did not pick the same team was OKC and Dallas. Dallas I had in 6 games, and they got a chance to close it out at home. I believe that's tomorrow, or Saturday, rather.
Okay.
And then you had OKC in 7, so
Yeah.
you need them to win the next 2 games
Yeah.
to get those points.
Doable.
Very doable. Yeah.
Doable.
It's going to come down to it.
Yeah.
Let's take the shot while we're here.
Okay.
It's been staring us in the face.
We did the Garrett.
Yeah.
You gotta let it rest.
Yum.
What time is it?
I think it's time for
That was easy.
Last call.
dun, dun, dun.
What do you got?
Lions. They gave Jared Goff a big ol' extension.
Ooh.
4 years, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That's a lot of money. Now, I think it's fair from the perspective of the fact that he won the most important playoff game in the team's history over the last 30 plus years.
Yeah. And he was really close to winning the biggest game in the history of the franchise.
Correct.
Thanks, Dan Campbell.
Right. I think you could argue the jury's out if he's the long term answer, but I think he's good for this team right now.
Yeah.
I think he's an adult, and he has certainly improved over his years in the NFL.
Happy for him.
I am happy for him. I think he seems like a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was almost like when he went to the Lions, it was like, we're never going to hear from this guy ever again.
Right.
Because the Lions have been the Lions, and we know what the history is.
Yeah. It is cool that he's kind of proven people wrong.
Yeah, it's just the way it's all worked out between Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, how the team's constructed. It's really working, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's either going to be them or the Niners, in my opinion, to be probably representatives for the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NFC is going to be much improved from last year or even the year before.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different league. I know a lot of the star quarterbacks are in the AFC, but I think the NFC is going to be tough this year.
Yeah.
Also, Golden State's WNBA team that's coming next year
Hey.
has announced their team name. They are going to be called the Golden State Valkyries. I guess I didn't realize that the Warriors ownership owned this franchise as well.
Yeah.
But because I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't be Golden State.
I was too, but for a different reason.
I know, but for my thinking was I would like them to have their own identity
like
in a
San
way.
Francisco.
Yeah, like or Bay Area Valkyrie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like the term Golden State is very general.
Well, I think. Oh, you can finish.
It's just very general, and it's like people just know, oh, they're from California, but they don't. I don't know if they really associate it with the actual region. You know.
Yeah. I see what
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But I think in that way it works because it's so vague. That means people from San Diego or people from LA who don't want to root for the Sparks, or people that are in here or Oakland or San Francisco, they could root for this team because it's not like a specific
city. Yeah.
city.
That's fair.
Because they could say, oh yeah, they're like Golden State. They're from our state.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The only thing I would dispute about that is that Northern California and Southern California have very different perspectives about their teams.
Yeah.
Like obviously, Northern Californians have no affinity to LA or San Diego
that's
teams.
true. That's true.
And vice versa.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I do know what you're saying. Like it kind of represents more than just a single city.
Yeah.
Which I do like.
And I guess I should say more, maybe not LA or San Diego, but San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco could all get behind this because I do think the name means something. Like if it was San Francisco, people from Oakland might say, nah, I'm not going to root for them, because
Right.
like they're from there, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Some people are like that.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
So I think it being vague, like Golden State, it works. Obviously it's worked for the Warriors and they've been around for a lot longer, but I think it does work.
Yeah.
And they're going to be purple.
Purple,
Like a light purple.
It's almost like
magenta.
a little bit, yeah.
Which I'm cool with because them being called Golden State is tough for me
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. But the fact that they're not blue and yellow also,
Yeah.
that
That would have been lame, I think.
a little bit,
Yeah.
that would have been like, ugh, like I don't. I'll pull for them, but I don't
Right.
really want to like rock their gear.
I-
But the fact that they're purple, and the fact that I'm a Kings fan, honestly, it's like okay,
Yeah.
like I can kind of get behind it a little bit. You know, it'd be cool if they brought the Monarchs back. That's a different story.
The Monarchs would be cool.
But for the meantime, root for the Valkyries. It'd be cool to go
Yeah.
to a game. Like go see them play the Fever.
Yeah,
Go see Caitlin Clark. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they can get Paige Beckers.
that would be tight. For some reason, I thought this team was starting this year, but I was
it
mistaken.
next year?
It's next season.
Yeah, so that'd be cool.
Yeah. Interesting name choice too. Obviously, a Valkyrie
It's a
is
female warrior.
Yeah, but it's like a mythical.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think
Person.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad. I just it's interesting that how they came to that conclusion.
What's
that they're
the-
going to be the Valkyries?
What's the nickname gonna be? That's like the Vals.
The Vals.
I don't like that.
The Valks.
The Val? Yeah, probably the Valks.
Yeah.
Go Valks. They'll figure it out, but
Yeah. GSV.
that's not bad. GSV. Vamos GSV.
Nice.
Thanks. Thank you. The only thing I got is a little more basketball news, but from the NBA side. Vince Carter is going to get his number 15 retired by the Brooklyn Nets next season.
Cool.
I think it's well deserved. You know, went to a couple, or maybe one final, two. They went to two, but I don't know if he was on the team.
Not the first one. I think
First
the
one.
second one. Yeah.
So good for him. I think it's deserved. He played for the. I checked his stats, and he does have 25,000 career points, but I know he played for 21 or 20 years.
Yeah. But he had a good peak.
Oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely. People were complaining that Toronto should retire his number, which they probably should.
How many years was he there? 4?
I think he was there longer than he was with the Nets.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Okay.
Maybe by like a season.
Okay.
But I mean, Toronto, they got to retire a number soon. He should be the first one probably.
Yeah.
Or Kawhi. I mean, Kawhi. I mean, it's funny because he's there for a year.
I could be mistaking Vince Carter's tenure in Toronto for Tracy McGrady's. His might have been shorter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even Tracy McGrady. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I think,
And
right?
when those guys were there together, it was a little bit before our time.
I
But
don't know. I mean, Toronto, they can do what they want. But
yeah,
one of those three guys that we just mentioned.
probably deserve to.
I mean, even
I'm trying to think. There's someone else that
like
was-
DeMar DeRozan. Chris Bosh.
Bosh, yeah, Bosh would be a good
Maybe
one.
Kyle Lowry.
So
Kyle Lowry was like Mr. Toronto.
Tracy McGrady was only there for 3 seasons.
Okay, so that's
I forgot he went to Orlando.
Yeah. Tracy McGrady, that's not enough time.
And honestly, he was his best season. He averaged 15 points a game. So yeah.
He was better after.
Let's see, Vince. I'm guessing they probably moved on from Tracy McGrady because Vince Carter was there, and they played kind of similar position. So, yeah, 7 years in Toronto, 5 years in New Jersey,
So,
aka Brooklyn Nets. I don't think Vince was on any of the finals teams for the
No?
Nets. No.
Maybe they got him after?
Yeah, I think
Wow,
so.
okay.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because they were there because he didn't show up to New Jersey till
After.
he got traded in the middle of 04-05, so basically 05. And
When did they go?
Like 02 and 03,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Because they went back to back, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that.
Got
Like it was
I think they got swept against the Lakers and maybe went 7 against the Spurs.
or 5.
Or 5?
yeah,
Yeah,
It was they didn't get really that close, from what I remember.
Which sucks.
yeah,
you know.
for sure.
But hey, you went, whatever.
Yep.
So congrats to Vince Carter. I think
Yeah.
it's well deserved. He
He was on the TNT
Yeah.
panel the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't love him on the panel, but I'm not gonna back.
I feel like because he does some announcing too, doesn't he? I feel like he's
I think
decent as an
yeah,
announcer,
he's
as a
not
color
bad.
guy.
He's
Yeah.
not bad. I think he's like the what Devin and I call the B team for TNT.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like he'll be on like NBA TV or like that.
Yes, he will.
Yeah,
Yeah. The actual TNT B team is not good. I'm sorry. What was it?
And I-
Lefko?
I-
Stop it.
You don't like Lefko?
No.
He kind of tries a little too hard to be cool.
That's why I don't like him.
Yeah.
He tries too hard.
What do you think about Candace Parker?
I like her.
I think she's good.
Yeah.
So
She's probably
so
the best part of the team.
so it's him, Candace Parker. It's Lefko, Candace Parker,
Dwayne and Jamal, right?
Dwayne, I think Jamal's not bad.
Jamal's okay. He's been fine as like a fill-in
No,
kind of
I
guy.
feel like it's different. Is it Dwayne?
Unless they kind of change it up sometimes,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. The fact that he called it, he literally calls himself Lefko. No one else does. He's Adam. But he's like,
Okay,
I'm Lefko. Like, come on, dude.
I didn't know that. That's good. That's a little.
Lefko, dude. All right, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
We will see you next time. Peace.